Any comments? No, no comments yet. And I'm here to answer questions. Very good. All right, so that's where I can go back to my questions. Okay, folks. So we have a lot to talk about. I've been working extremely hard. Again, give me a thumbs up so I know that you guys can hear me. Hey, Junior. Hey, Jose Morales. Thanks for joining. Jose, what's up, man? Nice to see you again. Thank you so much for tuning in. So definitely, guys, make sure that you give me a thumbs up so I know that you can hear me out there. TikTok, thumbs up. Can you guys hear me? Everyone's okay. Hey, Gil, how's it going? How's it going out there? YouTube, Facebook. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up if the mic is okay. So give me a thumbs up if the mic is okay. Thumbs up. Hey, Gail, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. And again, today's topic that we're going to talk about is the ninth king of the book of Revelation. Actually, the ninth king of the 10 kings mentioned in the book of Revelation and the book of Daniel. That's what we're going to talk about. And I'm trying to show this off of my monitor because I'm streaming. Until I can get about 10,000 followers on TikTok, I can't really broadcast live and share live like I want to on all these different platforms. So I have this hybrid that I'm working on right now, which I'm showing everything as we speak. I'm showing live on TikTok. I'm showing live on Facebook. I'm showing live on YouTube all at once. I'm trying to do it in the most efficient way that I can. So let's take the banner out the way because there's a lot to talk about. What I want to be able to do here is let's remove the banner. Okay, we're going to remove this banner and go back to screen. And what I also want to do is invite a guest. Let's see. Going to copy this. All right, close it. And I want to bring up a buddy of mine. Let's see, where is it? Messages. There we go. Okay. And where is the live? There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, so what I want to do again is we're going to talk about the book of Revelation, and what we're going to do is talk about the book of Daniel, and we're going to see what happens today, and we're going to see why in the world is King Charles coronation. Why is that so significant in today's time? Why is the coronation of Pope? I keep saying Pope. The coronation of King Charles relevant in our time today? And it's very relevant because I want to first take you back to the prophecy that we saw in not prophecy, but the events that happened in the book of Exodus. I'm going to bring up a slide here, and hopefully, let's see if this works well. I'm going to bring up this slide, and boom, it works well. Okay, good. So if you notice here, okay, in the book of Exodus, this is where we see that God's people were enslaved in Egypt. The Hebrews were slaves in Egypt. And then Moses was called up and was brought up to Mount Sinai, where God told him to go to Pharaoh and let his people go. We saw this. Now, I'm going to get back to that in a second. But now, what I want you to note is this, which is something you want to bring to your attention, is that if we had known what we know now back then, we would know that God was going to perform 10 signs. 10 signs, and then after the 10 signs, God's people would be taken out of Egypt. After 10 signs, God's people were going to be taken out of Egypt. And the reason why I'm trying to bring this to your attention is because what we find is that God was actually using the plagues as a countdown sequence before bringing the Hebrews out of Egypt. So it'll be the first sign would be the 10th, and then the second one would be the 9th, and the 8th, and the 7th, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. When he got to the last one at the 10th sign, then God's people were taken out of Egypt. So you find in this slide here that I'm going to show you that this was parallel to what we're seeing happen today with the God's people going to be taken out of earth. So we see that at the 10th sign, with Moses showing the 10 plagues, God's people were taken out of Egypt. And then we find also that at the 10th, after the prophecy of the 10 horns, we see God's people will be taken out of the earth via the rapture. So I've been saying for quite a long time, well, first, before I get to what I've been saying for 10 years to watch for, that I want you to pay attention and note that we are living in the pages of the book of Revelation. I can't stress that enough because it's so ignored and it's so overlooked because a lot of pastors are not talking and teaching the book of Revelation based on what we're seeing happening today. It's the same repeated information that's been repeated for the last 50, 60, 70 years, as opposed to what we are seeing happening with our own eyes and giving, as the Holy Spirit is giving us new information based on what we're seeing. And it's similar to what we saw happening in the gospel. We saw the Jewish people at the time had their own conception of what they thought Messiah's arrival would be. First off, they didn't even think Messiah was going to come twice. They thought Messiah was going to come once, establish the kingdom, all said and done. No, but we find that even when Jesus was on earth walking in Israel, the Jewish people did not understand that he was fulfilling prophecy right before their eyes. So what you find happening here that I want to bring your attention to is the same thing. We see that God is performing these prophecies, fulfilling right before our eyes, and it's being ignored again in our present day and age. We see that we're finding prophecy being fulfilled, and it's not being explained, and it's not being expressed, it's not being highlighted. I'm trying to do my part to be able to say that we need to watch these things so that people can realize what the Holy Spirit is showing us today. But to base my premise on we are living in the pages of the book of Revelation is in the example here where I talk about how you look at you look at the story of Exodus, how God performed 10 plagues, and then after the 10 plagues, God's people were taken out of Egypt. Let me show this again. For those in YouTube land and Facebook land, I'm going to share this right here. Let me add another screen. And let's go to the, here we go. All right, now we're on the same page. So those in, if you're watching right now, I'm going to share this. There we go. So here what you'll find is that you see, as I was saying before, there we go, spotlight. So what I'm showing here, you might not be able to see it, but what you're finding right here is that for those in Facebook and YouTube land and TikTok, you're seeing right here, this is the story of Exodus. We see that God is using the 10 plagues as a countdown before God's people were taken out. So God's people weren't taken out of Egypt at the first plague. They weren't taken out on the second plague or the third or fourth or fifth. They were taken out at the 10th. So you can look at this as a quasi countdown at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And at the very last plague, or the 10th plague, God's people were taken out of Egypt. That parallels to the prophecy that we know about the book of Revelation and the rapture. We find that after the 10 horns, God's people will be taken out of earth via the rapture. As God's people were taken out of Egypt after the 10 plagues, God's people will be taken out of the earth via the rapture after the 10 kings, which is mentioned in Daniel and also mentioned in the book of Revelation. So this is the most important thing I want to be able to share to you, and hopefully you'll be able to understand, more importantly, that these are the end times and how King Charles fulfills the prophecy of the 9th king. This I want to bring to your attention now. Look at this. So I'm going to show you this here. Let's go back to, all right, let's go back to this. And I want to show you something. Now, for most of the time I've been doing this, I've been saying for so long, watch for a new king in UK and Denmark. Watch for a new king in UK and Denmark. And I'm going to just fly by this, right? We know that John, the Apostle John, wrote the book of Revelation in 90 AD. We've got that. And then we also know that this prophecy of the iron legs and the prophecy of Daniel's statue split. Actually, let's go back a little bit more. For those who are new. So those who are new and you're not used to this, let's go back first. Okay. So we find here, let's see. We're now going to look at the book of Daniel, the book of Daniel, chapter 2.